speakers of the day, Dr. Rashmi S. Chowdhury. She is Associate Professor and Research Supervisor for DBA at Uni Athena. She has vast experience in teaching business studies in different levels of students. Also, she's passionate about the topics like advertising, consumer behavior, brand management. And also joining her, we have Dr. Krishna Joshi, Associate Professor and Research Supervisor, DBA Uni Athena. She's more expertise in her expertise more in finance. She has over 15 years of experience in teaching the finance related subjects. Also, she helps us to make more complex financial topics very easy to take it over. Also, she has a lot of experience in taking finance related subjects. So we are really looking forward to learn from both of them today. I'm sure that the session will give us useful ideas about how these research writing can be used for each and every person here. So I'm really happy to welcome both Dr. Rashmi and Dr. Krishna to today's webinar. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ratira. So I'm Dr. Rashmi, and along with me, I have Dr. Krishna with me. So both of us are absolutely delighted to welcome you for today's webinar. That is the art of academic writing, right, for research excellence. So I think many of you are working on research projects, dissertations, or theses. And it happens that you have spent countless hours reading literature, collecting data, and analyzing results. But when it comes to putting it all on paper, that's often where the real challenge begins. And believe me, it's not unusual to feel that way. It's not unusual to feel stuck between knowing your research well and figuring out how to tell its story in a most compelling way. So that is the purpose of today's webinar, that we can discuss the challenges we all face while writing academic documents. So as we move on with the webinar, I would request all of you to drop in your challenges. That what are your specific challenges that you face while writing academic papers? Are you feel stuck right in the beginning? You don't know how to start? Or do you feel more challenged at the time of revising or at the time of analyzing? Please let us know so that we can answer your queries at end of this session. And again, I would like to tell you that writing is an art, and specifically official academic writing is an art. If you have mastered it, it definitely provides you a comparative edge, because it does not help you not only just presenting your findings, but to do so in a more clear way, coherent way, and with more rigor. So we can say that in today's times where information is abundant, all of us are facing this challenge of information overload. So the skill to discern valuable data and present it effectively is more crucial than ever. Writing which lacks clarity can lead to misunderstanding or underappreciation of valuable insights. So with these thoughts, I would like to commence today's webinar, starting with the introduction. So we can say that academic writing is often described as the heartbeat of research. Without it, even the most groundbreaking ideas risk being lost, misunderstood, or undervalued. In academia, the purpose is not just to produce knowledge, but it has to be communicated in a way which is clear, more structured, and more persuasive. And that's exactly where the role of academic writing comes in. So coming to the importance, that what is the importance or why is the academic writing important? So we can say that academic writing is not just a side task in research. It is a core skill for every scholar. It's how we share our findings, our insights, and our contributions with the community of academicians, scholars, etc. Without strong writing, even the most valuable research can fail to reach its audience and fail to make its desired impact. So, good academic writing has to be structured. That means it should follow an expected pattern. Then it should be objective. That means it should be framed around specific objectives, specific questions, and a specific purpose. It has to be evidence driven. That means the facts that we provide should be supported with the citations, with more facts. And again, it is audience aware. That means when we write, it should be according to the audience. If we are writing different papers, for example, if you are writing for research thesis, it will be completely academic and research rigor will be high. But if you are writing a general article, research article for, say, journal publication, then we have to write according to the expectations of that journal, right? We have to write in a way that it is understood by our audience. So we can take a simple example here that in a discussion of a thesis, you have to compare your results with the previous studies, right? So it shows more coherent results, and it shows that whatever you are putting or displaying or writing as your result is somewhere related to how you started with that research. Again, there is this misconception that when we talk about academic writing, it is just about documenting findings. But in reality, it is about building an argument and influencing. So it is not just writing whatever we read. It is building our argument. Now, when we read a research paper, when we read a document, we immediately think about the author, right? About different, it gives us a sneak peek into the personality of author in terms of his or her knowledge, what is the depth of knowledge for that particular topic, what is the tone adopted, what is the kind of language which has been adopted, right? The way the arguments are built, the way the opinions are written, we can make a judgment about the author and also about that piece of writing. So we can say that understanding academic writing involves presenting evidence-based reasoning, providing context and relevance, persuading readers about the significance of work. So for example, instead of simply writing that our survey results show 60% agreed, we can write the 60% agreement highlights a significant shift in consumer attitudes, aligning with recent sustainability trends in the market. So again, in this second part of the statement, we know that when we talk about this percentage, what is it related to? What is it actually reflecting? So it is not just quoting down the numbers and stating your statistical analysis, but it also about effectively designing and making or interpreting your findings. Now we come to the understanding of structure of academic papers. Now there is this commonly used method which is known as IMRAD method. So if I have to detail it, it can be explained as I stands for introduction, which means that you have to provide the context of the project, where does it fit in with the other research of the topic, and what is the specific research topics you want to address through this particular project. So basically, introductions should address the questions such as why are you doing this research, right? So it should clearly highlight the purpose of your research. Then coming to M. M stands for method. That is, what different analysis and techniques and tools have been adopted by the author or the researcher to validate the research questions which have been proposed in the introduction section. So this section basically answers the question how do you want to validate the claims or the proposal which you have presented in the previous section. Then moving on to R. R here stands for results. That what was the answer to the question. This is represented through tables and figures. So again, it answers the question what is the result of the research questions, again with the application of methods, what has been achieved. Then D stands for discussion. Discussion means that we have to not just plainly interpret the results in terms of the figures or the statistical values that we achieve because of statistical analysis of software, but we have to also discuss, we have to signify the importance of our research, that we have reached at these results and how are these results important. Right, so we have to relate it to the back to introduction, that what we mentioned in the beginning, are the results we have reached or achieved, are they related to that or not? So this answers the question, so what? So basically we need to, in this section, we need to signify, we need to validate our work. And then it is the references, right? So before introduction is the title, of your project and the basic details, which includes the author's details, abstract, mention of keywords, and similarly, after conclusion comes the mention or the list of references. This is again more explanation of IMRAD structure of writing academic documents. So introduction here can be explained with a simple example, that is examining climate change impacts on agriculture. So introduction section will require to state this particular problem clearly and include what all we want to discuss. If we talk about examining the climate change impacts on agriculture, then in what way we will define impact in terms of crop yield, in terms of revenue, and we have to define the impact, that what will be the impact here. Coming to the method section will explain procedures, analytical tools, techniques that we are going to apply to again validate or achieve our problem or solve the problem we stated in the introduction section. So example can be, we surveyed 200 farmers through statistical regression analysis. So this clearly gives this is just a simple example, a common example, that we just mentioned the number of farmers, that there are just 200. We have clearly stated that we will be interviewing or we will be asking 200 farmers and we will be using statistical regression. That means we are using quantitative analysis for our result. And we'll move on to our results and where we will show the findings. So here again, for example, we will show that yield decreased by 15% in drought years. Right? So we will not just simply, as I said earlier, we will not simply put the values we receive in your statistical analysis, that this is the beta for regression, this is the significant value, obviously that are necessary, right? In terms of we have to prove the statistical validance, we have to again prove the statistical reliability. But while writing, it is very important to transform or to translate those statistical figures into simple statements. Then further, it will lead to discussion. The example here is that findings aligned with global drought impact trends. Right? So it clearly states that we had a reference against which we were doing this research, and now our findings are related to that research, right? Either it will align or it'll be contradicted. So we have to mention that. Now we come to types of academic papers. Now there are different types of academic papers, but some commonly used academic documents are literature review, conceptual papers, and case studies. Coming to writing of literature review. So these are the basic steps which are required for writing literature review. We have to start with defining the scope clearly, that what are you reviewing and why. We have to, again, this section follows the first part, that is literature review usually follows introduction section. So in introduction, we state our research objectives, we state the purpose of our research, right? So again, literature review begins with identifying the specific variables for our research, and our literature review has to be centered. So when we say define scope, it means that we have to set a framework within which we are going to search, within which we are going to look for information in different research papers. Then another important aspect is that we have to use credible sources. Now it is important that we use only peer-reviewed journals, books, reports to review the literature. Now, as I said earlier, there is a lot of information. When we enter anything on Google, we get so much information on that. But we have to see that the source which we are using, is it credible or not? When we say credible, that means it should be good reputed journal, which should be indexed in good publication. So we can use Scopus indexed publication, we can use SCI publications, and we can use ProQuest repository of journals to collect information which we require for our research. Now the next step comes is where we have to organize this information. So this can be done either thematically or chronologically. Thematically means in terms of the subject, in terms of variables or concepts that we are including in our study. So we organize it according to that, starting with, say, for example, independent variables, then mediating variables leading to our dependent variables, or chronologically. Chronologically, again, it is important. For example, when we are collecting information, say, for example, theories, right? For example, we want to write a research paper about consumer adoption of technology. So this again requires theoretical frameworks such as TAM, that is Technology Acceptance Model. So we have to, and there are many other models such as theory of planned behavior, UTOUT, and so many. So we have to write chronologically that when did this particular theory evolve, what were the changes that have been made to this till date, what are the different variables which have been added to it, and how has it evolved over the years or over the different time period. Then another important aspect of literature review is critical evaluation. So it is when we do literature review, it does not mean that we have to simply write down what we are reading and we make a summary of it and write down. No, there has to be critical evaluation of that. We have to relate it to our own research objective and see that does this research is what we are thinking, does it align with this particular reference we are reading, or does it contradict, right? So we have to give a critical evaluation of that. How can that be done? We have to highlight the gaps and the contradictions. Gaps means that what are the unexplored areas in those existing researches, right? If we are talking about, say, work-life balance, then we have to see, is there anything which have been ignored? Is there the particular theory we are using, but that theory did not mention the employees working from home, right? So that is a gap which can be used in your study for this particular research. And another important aspect is to maintain academic tone and citation style. Now, when you write in your own words, that does not mean that you will write in a casual manner. Academic papers are always in official tone. And citation style has to be adapted according to the one which has been instructed by your university or your institution. For example, in DBA here in Uni Athena, we follow Howard style of referencing. So all our documents, our thesis, our research papers are the citation style used for that is Howard style referencing. Another important after we critically evaluate, we have to synthesize all this information, right? So it is not just description of the information. We have to synthesize, we have to assimilate what is important to us, and we have to write our own opinions about it. So here we can see this is an example of literature review. So if I read it out to you, it says that recent studies on consumer behavior in digital marketplaces highlight the growing influence of personalized recommendations. For instance, Kumar in 2021 found that algorithm-driven suggestions increased purchase intent by 35%, especially among Gen Z users. Similarly, Sharma and Gupta in 2022 emphasized the role of trust in AI systems, noting that transparency in recommendation logic significantly affects user engagement. These findings align with earlier work by Chen in 2019, who argued that perceived relevance and control are key mediators in digital decision making. However, while these studies explore personalization and trust, few address the long-term impact on brand loyalty, an area this study aims to investigate. Now, if we again analyze this paragraph of literature review, it is good. And why it works? Because it has done thematic grouping focused on personalization and trust as the key theme. So it has a clear mention of key variables here. Further, it involves critical synthesis. It connects findings, highlights gaps, and sets up rationale for new research. It has clear citations. So again, citations are not mentioned as discrete sentences that author A has said this, author B has said this. No, there is this single argument which has been built up and explained through different works done by different authors. Then it is forward looking. At end of this particular paragraph, you would see that a research gap has been mentioned, and again the opportunity for the research is also mentioned here. So coming to another type of academic document, which is the conceptual paper. So conceptual paper can be defined as the papers that propose new theories, models, or frameworks. They advance understanding or challenge existing paradigms. The structure is simple: introduction, development of concepts, and implications. Now, this is an example of a simple conceptual paper. So the title of the paper is Student Engagement Using EdTech Tools to Foster Active Personalized Learning in Higher Education. Right? So we can again classify the different engagement types. That can be behavioral, that can be emotional, that can be cognitive. And what edtech strategies can be used? We can use games, we can use social platforms, we can use techniques of adaptive learning. And what are the different tools we can use? We can use quiz, different types of other online or the technological tests. And we can study the impacts of each of them individually. So again, we have to write it in this manner. If we are talking about a concept, that what is that concept? How can that be further defined? And how is it related to our own field of research? Now coming to the next type of academic paper, that is a case study. Now case study can be defined as an in-depth analysis of a specific instance, event, or organization. Purpose is to provide practical insights or test theories. Now, structure is you have to start with introduction, then description of the case, analysis, and finally conclusion. So this is again a simple example of a case study. Case study title is say green growth market expansion. So introduction can be again in 2019, green growth and organic food brand aim to expand beyond its local market. So here it highlights the problem. It gives the background that why does it wants to expand its market, approach, that what is its approach? It's going to partner with the regional distribution for expansion strategy, and result, that is 40% increase in the market share is expected. And conclusion, the strategic partnership and localized outreach enabled successful expansion. So this is just a very brief description of a case study. When we actually do it, we have to explain all these points in detail. Further, we can categorize the academic documents based on different disciplines. For example, in engineering, the methodology is mainly around experimentation, or it is prototype design or simulation process. So results we achieve are through performance metrics or efficiency tests. Right? Discussion is we discuss the comparison is made with industry benchmark. And again, when we do these, write these papers for, say, disciplines such as humanities, the literature review has to be written, where critical interpretation of texts and different works have to be given. Then methodology has to be cited clearly. It can be discourse analysis, it can be historical review, and results and discussion have to be combined in thematic chapters. Similarly, for disciplines such as social sciences, again, literature review is essential. Methodologies will include quantitative surveys, qualitative interviews, or case studies. Results in case of qualitative analysis will be presented through thematic patterns based on qualitative data. So it doesn't matter that what kind of discipline it is and what the academic, for what purpose we are writing the document. But a very important feature of a good academic document is coherence, right? Many times it is observed that when we write a document, any official document, it is broken down into different sections. And those different sections appear as, say, distinct works altogether. They do not represent a consistent or a unified thought of chain, right? Or a chain of thought process. So there has to be a chain of thought process along or throughout the academic document. That is what is meant by coherence. Now we move on to thesis, that how do we understand the structure of a research thesis? So these are the common structure. This is the common structure of a thesis. It starts with introduction, which highlights the research problem, objectives and scope. It goes to literature review. Again, here there is a mention of key studies, mention of key gap. Then we move on to methodology, where a research design is clearly outlined with a mention of tools and procedures. Then we move on to results, discussions, and conclusion. Now, this structure for writing a thesis is very important. Why? Because it provides a framework. It gives a direction to our study. Right? We know that our ideas are presented logically, clearly, and in a way that meets the academic expectations. So we can say that they provide a logical roadmap, they ensure clarity and academic rigor, and also maintain a consistent flow across different chapters. So these are some strategies for making or for writing the structure of a thesis. First, it has to start with a clear research objective. That is, you have to define the scope and purpose of your review. That why are you doing this research, which requires clear articulation of objectives of research problem that your research thesis will address. This sets a focused direction for your particular research. So here you have to, again, the main purpose again here is to fill a gap in existing literature by exploring a new area or providing a new perspective on an issue. Then you move on to conducting a comprehensive search. That is, you use multiple databases, assess different academic databases such as JST or PubMed, Google Scholar. So these are the names of certain repositories. As I said, another one most important is ProQuest, which is available with DBA. We have this with us. So these are some of the trusted and credible sources of information, because we need information as part of our literature review, which forms the basis or foundation for our research. So this information has to be collected from the trusted sources. Once we collect this information, the next step is to organize this information. So this can be done based on the themes, methodologies, or according to chronological order. Then we have to critically evaluate the sources. We have to assess reliability and identify the strengths and weakness of each source. That what is how is the author writing a particular research? Is he published in different research papers or not? Is this research paper published through a good publication or not? And are we not referring to any random source? So we have to make sure that the sources of our information are reliable and credible. So we can use the software tools such as Reference Manager, EndNote, Zotero, which can be used to manage sources and streamline the citation process. Now again, I was talking about coherence in academic writing. So what is coherence? Coherence means that there has to be logical flow and consistency across different sections that we write, and which should exhibit smooth transitions between ideas and chapters. And there has to be alignment with central research objectives, right? So again, why does it matter? It enhances readability and comprehension. It strengthens argument and scholarly rigor. It helps examiners and readers follow your research logic. It avoids repetition and fragmentation. And these are the building blocks. These are some strategies which can be used. They can be ensured. You can ensure consistency in terminology and definitions, that if you are using certain terms to define the research variables, please make sure that you use the same terminology when it comes to your research methodology, when it comes to description, when it comes to discuss your findings. You cannot use the different synonyms of those terminologies. Then the theoretical frameworks and constructs, they are very important. Then you have to make a framework of your research, which is based on certain theories and research constructs, which again serve the purpose of your founding or building blocks. Then research objectives and questions, they have to be uniform. And again, major strategy or tip for consistent work is that all your research should be centered around your research objectives and questions. So whenever you are drifting away, whenever you think that what I'm writing, maybe it is not related to the main thing, go back to your research questions, read them once again, and automatically you will come to know whether you are moving in the right direction or not. These are some other strategies, that is, use transition paragraphs at the start or at end of each chapter. Refer back to previous chapters when introducing new ones. So when you are writing research methodology, give reference right in the beginning to the literature review, that through exhaustive literature review, these are the research constructs which have been identified. And through, again, while mentioning your research design also, you can talk about literature review, that in your literature review you found out that these kind of designs are more applicable to this kind of particular research if you are attempting. And there are some common pitfalls which have to be avoided. That is, you have to avoid writing disconnected chapters with no narrative thread. The shift in tones or writing style, there has to be a uniform writing style, inconsistent use of key terms or constructs, and redundant content across chapters. Now coming to how do we move from first idea to the first draft? Now, when we start thinking with these, or when we start reading these literature review or reading these research journals, our mind is flooded with multiple research ideas. Then we want to do so much work about so many different topics. But the problem comes when we have to frame that first research proposal or to frame that first draft. Right? So again, there are certain strategies we can adopt. For example, we can decide that instead of writing one complete chapter in a go, we will start with just one paragraph today. And again, it is very important, as I stated earlier, use research questions and objectives as your compass. So take time, read proper literature review, consult your peer group, consult your academic advisors, and frame proper research questions and objectives. So whenever there is a problem, they serve as your guidelines to stay focused and to stay in a uniform direction and aligned with the purpose of your study. Another problem we face is the fear of blank page, right? As I said, we can think a lot, but when it comes to putting all those thoughts into writing, then is where the real problem comes in, right? So we have to understand that we have to start from somewhere. And as I said, just thinking about the complete thesis or complete chapters, just think about one paragraph, just think about 100-word write-up and just start. And again, you have to remember that you can edit a blank page, but you cannot edit a blank page, sorry, but you can polish a messy one, right? So it is very important to just start writing. And believe me, once you start doing that, even if you start, say, with 10 sentences in a day, and if you, but yes, one condition is you have to be consistent, right? And if you are consistent, then it is not a problem anymore, right? So this is how you can build a writing goal tracker, right? So you can make this kind of a thing for yourself. You can say, right, that in week 1, how much have I written? Was I able to, yeah, you can set individual benchmarks. It can be, say, 20 pages, it can be one paragraph, it can be, say, 20 sentences, based on your commitments, based on the challenges, based on your own capability. But here it is important that from 1 week to another, this should increase. Your writing should increase. That will reflect your consistent growth, which is important. Now coming to elements of strong academic writing. So most of them I have discussed. So again, if we have to categorize them, your academic writing, it has to be critical, it has to be structured, it has to be evidenced, objective, precise, balanced, and formal. I think I have discussed most of them, but if you don't understand any of them and where is your basic challenge, then please drop in a message in the chat box that where do you think is your challenge of writing. So we can again group these different elements of good writing into these 3 categories, which are clarity, argumentation, and balance. So all these elements of good writing, they act as a bridge between our research ideas and what are the reader's acceptance of our idea. So clarity is simple language, simple terms are, again, as I said, the tone has to be formal, but the terms we use should be simple. It has to be centered around the audience for which the document is being prepared. Argumentation means the data and the reasoning we give should be validating our research objectives. It should be signifying our purpose of research. And finally, balance, right? This is again a challenge. We need to create a balance between our theory, data analysis, and interpretation. Right? When we're writing, some people are very good in writing theory, theoretical aspect, conceptual aspect. So you cannot keep on writing that only, right? And on the other hand, some people are very good in terms of writing. They are very good with numbers. So for them, it is not a problem to write interpretation of results. They'll give multiple tables and tables for their research, right? But interpretation is very less. So there has to be a balance between these 3. And once you reach this perfect balance, then again, whatever you write, your research idea, your ideas for academic writing, they are able to reach to your audience, to your reader. So these were my thoughts on academic writing. I hope you relate with them. And again, I would request you all to again put in the drop box what are the challenges you are facing, and maybe we can discuss them at the end of the webinar. Now I would invite my colleague, Dr. Krishna Joshi. She will take over and she will discuss rest of the topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rashmi, for inviting me here. First of all, just let me know, am I audible?
Yes, yes, doctor, you are audible.
Okay. So thank you, Dr. Rashmi, for inviting me. I'll be taking further this webinar from here. Also, I thank Dr. Athira. She introduced me and welcomed me earlier. So thank you, Dr. Athira, for the same. I would like to also thank all the participants who are joining through all over the world. They are joining this webinar. We have big number of participants in this webinar, and I heartily congratulate all of you and thank you all of you for taking out your important time and joining this webinar. Taking out a time from your schedule and joining this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us today. Before I start or take ahead this webinar, just let me tell you that there are so many messages and question answers are there in the chat box and Q&A session. So I would like to assure you here that all the query, all the questions, everything would be answered by our panelist later on in the webinar. So be assured for the same. Now, with this note, let us go ahead with the writing, referencing, plagiarism. So welcome to the world of writing. Now that we have discussed, as Dr. Rashmi has discussed, writing and structure of theses, of case studies, of research paper. Now let us move to one of the most important part of your academic writing, that is referencing and avoiding plagiarism. This is where we make sure our work stands on solid, ethical, and scholarly ground. Why we cite? Now, this is the question. So, we need to give credit to original authors. When we use someone else's work or idea or research finding or even a concept we have learned from a book, it is like borrowing. Just you will return a borrowed book and thank the person in academia. We return credit by citing them. So this shows the respect for the intellectual work of others and acknowledges their contribution to your own research journey, and hence citation is needed. Another reason is it strengthens your argument with credible resources. So imagine you are trying to prove a point in your thesis. Your claim becomes stronger if you can back it up with the evidence from published papers, peer review journals, or it's like saying, don't just believe me, right? So don't just make my word for it. Here is what leading experts says. So hence also citing is required. It strengthens your argument with credible sources. Next is maintaining academic integrity and avoid plagiarism. So plagiarism is using someone else's work, even a single sentence, using someone else's work without proper acknowledgement. So in academic setting, plagiarism can lead to your thesis being rejected, loss of credibility, or even a disciplinary actions. Proper citation isn't just about, avoiding punishment. It's about maintaining a trust. When people read your work, they need to believe that your findings are honest, original, and traceable. Hence, we need to cite. So important thing is to avoid any kind of plagiarism. If you are borrowing someone else's work, please do cite it. Now, how do you cite it? We have different citation styles. It can be APA, MLA, Chicago style. Now, APA is the American Psychological Association style. MLA is known as Modern Language Association style. Chicago is a Chicago style. Now, different academic disciplines follows different citation style. It is very much important to know which one your university or department requires. Say, for example, in Uni Athena, as Dr. Rashmi earlier also mentioned, that at Uni Athena, we use Harvard referencing style. And we keep telling our learners this, that we are using HRS, Harvard referencing style. And all our documents are referenced with Harvard referencing style. So each and every university department have different referencing style for their writing. So always follow those. Can we have please next slide, doctor? Now, Dr. Rashmi, can we have a next slide? Next slide is about revising and editing. Thank you. Now, once you have finished your first draft, as Dr. Rashmi said, all the steps, once you have finished your first draft, you might feel like your hard work is done. But here is a secret. The real magic of good writing starts after your first draft. It is revising and editing. That comes the next. I call them the hidden muscle of great writing because it is not always visible, but they do most of the heavy lifting into your writing. So yes, it is a hidden muscle of good writing, revising and editing. Now, revising is a big picture improvement. Just revising is about like stepping back and looking at your work as a whole and asking yourself that does my thesis flow logically? Does my paper flow logically? Is my argument are clear? Like what arguments I'm making throughout my case study, are those clear? Are all the sections are in the right order? So am I making sense by writing this paper? This is not the time to worry about the punctuations, commas, even font size. This is about structure, logic, and clarity into your writing. Think of it as a rearranging the furniture in the room uh, before you do dusting, right? So you are just arranging your furniture in a way, and then later on you can do a dusting. Now, dusting is equal to editing. Editing is equal to fine details. Editing comes after you revise your thesis or revise your writing. This is where you zoom in. Now you check your grammar, you make any punctuation changes. So you fix those punctuation changes. You make sure that your headings and fonts are consistent as per the university's requirements and norms, and verify that the every table, every figure is correctly labeled, right? If revising is about making the story right, then editing is about making it beautiful and error free, maybe. Okay. Can we have a next slide, please? So revising and editing comes the next. So citation is important. Revising and editing is important. Also, polishing and feedback the sources. Once you complete your writing, you please give it to your peers, give it to your supervisor, and take the guidance from there. Yes. And then you can polish your work. Now, aligning with university's guidelines. No matter how well written your thesis is, if it can be rejected if it is not meeting the university's submission guidelines. That's why aligning your thesis or the research paper wherever you are, submitting it, it is very important. That's why it is very much important to aligning your work with these rules. So first of all, you know the rules. Start by checking your university's formatting guideline. If you are submitting a thesis, start by checking journals guidelines regarding the research paper before you start writing a research paper. This usually covers font size, margin, line spacing, and citation styles, and the limit of words which is required to complete this research paper. Okay, so always start by checking the required norms or rules by your whichever body you are working with. Also note the words count requirements, as I told you earlier, and the submission deadlines also very much important. So please keep a note of all this thing. Missing this thing can cost you marks or even your degrees timeline. So please be assured about this thing. Now, once you know the rules of your university, please, can we have the previous slide only? Yes. We are talking about maintaining consistency. Make sure that your all figures, tables, citations, appendices, everything must follow the same format throughout the document. If table 1 is in bold and centrally aligned, your table 2 cannot be left aligned or smaller size of the font. So consistency is the key here. Consistency shows the professionalism. So keep it, maintain the consistency. Next is use available templates. Most of the universities offers templates, either a thesis templates or either a research paper templates or either a case study templates. Templates that's already set to their formatting requirement. use it from day one. It will save your hours of reframing, reformatting later on. As in the Uni Athena also, we provide a specific assignment sheets, cover sheets. So everything is mentioned there. So if you keep writing into the same formatted template, it avoids reformatting later on, because reformatting is is time taking. Rather than writing, reformatting takes a lots of your time. So make sure of the same thing. Now, can we have a next slide, please? So these are the three basic rule we discussed: citations, aligning with universities' guidelines, know the rules. And now, as we are, since, starting, we are discussing that you should write these and you should write that and you should be writing like these. Now, which are the tools and resources for thesis writing? Maybe for a research paper writing or for a case writing, any kind of academic writing, what are the tools and resources you can use? The earlier webinar also, we discussed few of the tools, but now, today, before we explore advanced tools, we have thought of that, let us start with what's already in your computer. Many students overlook these built-in tools, yet they can handle 70% of your writing, editing, formatting needs. So let us first talk about those built-in basic tools. You can do your work without installing anything extra. So let us walk through it step by step. Yes, I'm talking about Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel. This is the basic version which is already there in your computer, and how you can use Microsoft Word and Excel to your research. In the later on series of the webinar, we will be discussing some of the advanced tool, but today I will only focusing on Microsoft Word and how Microsoft Word is, compatible to do 70% of your writing work. So let us start. Can we have a next slide, please, Dr. Rashmi? Microsoft Word remains the gold standard for academic writing because whether you use Word, Google Docs, or Library Office Writer, the core features are the same. And the most important thing is that it is universally accepted by most of the universities. So most of your work can be done by the Microsoft Word only. There are various tools that you can use into your writing. Okay, can we have a next slide, please, Doctor? Okay. So let us talk about styles and formatting, styles and table of contents step by step. Let us discuss it. Now, if you open your Microsoft Word, instead of manually bolding and enlarging heading, you can use heading 1, 2, 3. It is there on the right side corner of your Microsoft Word. Now, how it will use? It will help you to frame the title, and later on it will allow you to automatically create your table of content. It will save hours of your hard work. So you can use the heading style and formatting tool for your creating your table of content. You can track changes. This is under the review tab, and your supervisor sends you feedback through that review tab. So review is in basically middle of the Microsoft Words interface, and review is very much important. If you are writing your draft, and you can comment on the side, it will reflect on the right side of your writing. So whoever is your supervisor, they know what is your thinking while you are talking about this. So the same way, your reviewer or your supervisor can comment also through this review tab. Word count. Now, how you can see that what is the word, how many words you have written into your how many words you have written into your draft. You can simply select them, and in the left corner it will show that how many words. So word count is easily can be done by Microsoft Word as well. Then we have table of content, and then we have Table of content, how you can create a table of content and references. It is again, you can have references tile on the left side of your Microsoft Word, and you can use it. So no need to type a content page by hand or page by page. Word can generate and update it automatically from your headings. So you can, if you have given heading 1, 2, 3, you can also create table of content, and at the end you can also create the references. Insert table, figures, and caption. There is an insert style into Word as well. Now that can help you always, add insert caption using Word's built-in feature. That will help you to numbering the table. So if you are giving you are numbering table 1, 2, 3, and say for example you are deleting table number 3, so Word will automatically change the sequence or update automatically the number of tables. So you will not require to do it manually one by one. So Microsoft Word can help you in this very basic of each and every task. Can we have a next slide, please, Doctor? Okay, I just discussed this. Can we have a next, please? Okay, figure, captions, and cross-referencing. You can use cross-referencing in the Word. You can use cross-referencing in the Word. Now, what is a cross-referencing? This feature links your text to figures, tables, or headings. If numbering changes, your references update automatically. No need to hunt down each mention. Now, how you can do it? You just have a reference tab, and there is a cross-reference tab. You just have to click on it, and it will number each and every references by themselves only. And by chance, if you are editing anything, the cross-referencing itself will automatically change the referencing. Right. Then next is create list of figures and tables. Again, I told you just go to the insert tab, and you can add the content of a table over there, and you know that how the list of figures or tables can be created there. There is words, built in. Yes, you can also add the caption. So select into figure, references, again, insert caption. And once you will insert the caption will come automatically at the below of your page, and it will also have a number into it. So it is very much important for you to go ahead with this. Can we have a next slide, please? Citations and bibliographies built in. It is there, always there, Word built in. So how you can use references? Just go on the style tab of your Word file, and you can choose APA, MLA, Chicago, or any other referencing style which your university is using. There are some of the inbuilt referencing options are there. So if you want to write your references into APA style, you just enter all the details over there, and details like what is the name of the author, what is the title of the paper, what is the main idea discussed here, or what is the number of what is the date and number of the review journal. You can add all those details there, and you just have to click on whether it is APA, MLA, or Chicago style, whatever style you want to make it. Just click on it, and Word will make a reference for you, and you just can insert it over there. Now, if you want to use some other style which is not there already built in, say for example, if you want to use HRS, it is not there, but then you can just explain once. You can just give an example into Word, and they can create this style for you. Where you can do this is there in references, style, and choose your style, whatever APA, ML, or whatever referencing style is there. This is just I explained. Can we have? Yes, and then later on you can just go on to the insert and final bibliography. So whatever inside taxation you have given, they will just create a reference list at the end. All these things you can do through Word built-in feature, and you do not require any other app to download or extension, any extension is required. This is already there built in into your Microsoft Word. Now, next is navigation, find and replace, and templates. Yes. What is navigation pane in Word? Now, suppose you can open this from the View tab. It shows your entire document structure as you will go into the File tab, and there will be a View tab. So once you will click on the View tab, it is there into your Word. Once you will click on the View tab, it shows your entire document structure. Where is the introduction? Where is the literature review? Where is the methodology? Just letting you jump between chapters instantly, a huge time saver for long thesis. So you cannot, go through 1 to 500 pages each and every time. You just go onto the View tab and you will know the main heading which you have created for your thesis or your research paper or your case study. You just click on that particular heading and you will, directed, or you will navigate it to that particular page. So this is already built in Microsoft Word. Use this tab for your thesis writing or reviewing. Next is find and replace. Suppose you want to change any word. Say, for example, you have made a mistake of writing one word incorrectly throughout your thesis. Maybe this word has been written 200 or 300 times. Now, you cannot do reading. If you do reading one by one, you will have to allot a big number of hours to edit this. Rather than that, just go to find and replace. Just give a Control F, find the word you will want to replace, and then click a replace and write the actual word with the replace, and your whole thesis would be changed, or whole 200 words will be changed in 20 minutes maybe. So you need not to sit for 20 long hours, and you can do it in the 2 hours. You can also apply university template. Just go into the file, new, and you can give a file over there, and there is a options, add-ins, and you can add your own template. So this is very important feature of Microsoft Word. And in that add-in template, you can create your own template that I want, this is the font size, I want this spacing, this line spacing, this is this should be the margin in between, or this should be the paper size, or a size of a words, or size of the font, or style of the font. You just can create your own template using university's rules which you are following. So of course you use this template, find and replace, and templates tab into your preparation. Please, can we have a next slide? Okay, now Microsoft Excel is one of the other tool from Microsoft, and it can help you do basic data handling. I would say not basic data handling, almost 70 to 80% of your research task you can do through Microsoft Excel. You need not to have SPSS, or you need not to go to Stata or any other hi-fi tool to do your research analysis as well. Simple Microsoft Excel have all those tools through which you can complete your research or even your data analysis. But Excel is your best friend for managing and presenting data, as we all know. But you can do at least basic data handling through Microsoft Excel. If you think of using SPSS or Stata or maybe R or R++, whatever version of a statistical analysis tool, then you can use Microsoft Excel as, basic data handling. So it can help you data storage and analysis. You can keep your raw data organized and ready for analysis, and you just can copy those data from the Excel to the analytical tool, whichever you are using. You can create graphs, charts, and tables using Microsoft Excel. Simply generate visuals that can be copied directly into your thesis. So Excel has this very much useful tool to create a charts and tables. Sorting, filtering, and data sets you can use, make statistical analysis easier and help you spot patterns in your data. So the very basic data handling you can, of course, do with the Microsoft Excel. Can we have a next slide, please? Okay, spelling, grammar, and readability, which is already built in. You can use Microsoft MS Office's inbuilt spelling and grammar check. I'm sorry. Under the review tab, so you go to the file again in the review tab, words grammar checker can help you catch typos and basic errors. You can also add technical terms to custom dictionaries so they aren't flagged as mistakes, right? So there are some words which is not already there in the dictionary, some technical terms, and it keeps, redlined again and again. What you can do, you can go into the custom dictionary and you can add this particular word into the spelling and grammar check, so it won't show you that it is a wrong. Then readability, that when okay, so Microsoft Word has built-in citation manager in the reference tab. Word will allow you to choose a citation style, as I discussed with you, and it will also set proofing language. So you can go into the review tab, you can go to language, and you can set whatever language whatever language preferences you do have. Can we have a next slide, please? Table and figure consistency tips. Now, it is very much important that you generate tables and figures and there is a consistency into it. So you can use Word table style for consistent look. You can caption every table, every figure, and just use cross-referencing and keep font size and caption everything similar to earlier style. So table and figure, it will help you to maintain the consistency. Can we have a next slide, please? Okay, now this is important, university templates and submission checklists. Now, why it is important that now before you submit or before you start even using all this tool, always make sure that you check the university template and submission checklist. So know the rule. Start by checking your university's formatting guide. This, as I told you, it will have font size, margin, line spacing, everything, citation style, and take a note of this, and then maintain consistency. And there is some submission checklist, right? So you always make sure that these are the deadlines, these are the requirement. Always keep a note of this and accordingly make changes into your Word file. Can we have a next slide, please? Okay, so this is the workflow from outline to submission. It is a six-step process. Now, first of all, create a structure outline using heading styles. So in the Microsoft Office Word, used the built-in features and create a structured outline using the heading style. Then draft section and add citation as you go. While you are drafting, just add the sections and add the citation as you are going. So later on, you can create a table of content and list of references. Insert figures and table with captions and cross references it. So use the insert tab over there. Use throughout the thesis or throughout your academic writing, use the consistent captions, and then you can cross-reference it. So later on, you also can create a list of tables which you have presented in your thesis or in your paper. You should then share it with your supervisor using track changes and comments. You can use review tab for the same. Finally, formatting and generating table of content, list of figures and tables using the Word, and save final copy, export it to PDF. You have also save as PDF option available with your Microsoft Word, and you can submit. And also Microsoft Word have this, combining the Microsoft Word, you can use that as well. So yes, this is your workflow for outline to submission. Can we have a next slide, please, Doctor? Okay, now thinking that, okay, now this is very important. So there are so many information in an hour, and by listening only you feel overwhelmed. Many a time what happens that writer faces some of the problem, and how you can cope up with those emotional journey. This is what we are going to discuss in this PPT. But before, I would like to, summarize my Microsoft Word use or Microsoft Excel use at that. Always remember, before downloading any fancy applications, master this built-in tools which is offered by Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. They are very powerful, reliable, and most importantly, as I already told earlier, it is universally accepted by universities. Now, in the next section or this upcoming section, we will look at how to combine this more advanced tool for even smoother thesis writing. So later on in the next upcoming seminar, we will discuss this. Now here, let us discuss writer's block. What happens? Sometimes our mind freezes. When that happens, when you keep thinking of something throughout the day, throughout the week, your mind freezes. And this is known as mind block, or it is known as writer's block. You do not know how to start, or you have so many ideas, but you are not able to put it on the paper. So this is known as writer's block. You have ideas, but you are not able to write it down. When that happens, change your environment, maybe move to a new spot, go to park or go to some restaurant or cafe and write over there. Try free writing without, without worrying about the template, without worrying about grammar or structure, just free flow writing. So it will help you to, come over writer's block. Many of the learners who comes to us at Uni Athena for DBA program, they ask us that there are so many things we want to write, but we are blocked. And this is known as writer block. And we share them that take a break of a day or a two, whatever is comfortable or whatever is, manageable in your timeline. Take a break, go to a new place, and then keep writing. So this is how you can overcome writer's block. Then there is a self-doubt. That little voice which is keeps saying you that you are not doing good enough. Silence it by focusing on progress, not the perfection. Remember, even a rough draft is better than the blank page. So keep writing and do not hear that little voice which is coming from inside that you are not good enough, or you are not doing good enough, or you cannot do it. Do not indulge into self-doubt. Just keep writing. It's okay, whatever you are writing. First, ugly draft, prepare it, then later on we can make changes into it. Another challenge is burnout. Writing endlessly without pause drains your creativity, and you are working, you have your family to manage, you have your work to manage. Maybe there is some upcoming event into your family, some upcoming function into your family. Maybe at the same time you have a new project at your office, and at the same time you have a submission deadline of your assignment. So this makes you feel burnout. Right, so take break, practice self-care at the time of burnout, read, work, or spend time with your family. Your brain needs to recharge. So taking a break at such important time is nothing wrong into it. Now let us talk about some healthy routine. So you won't feel burnout or writer's block later on. So please always follow this healthy routine if you can do, or if you can manage with your busy schedule. Build daily writing habits. Short, focused session work better than long, exhausting 1 hours. And keep a balanced schedule, equal time for work and rest. Do not keep writing, or do not keep resting. Just give equal time to each of this requirement. Lastly, we need motivation boosters, and set small achievable milestones each time you hit the one milestone which you have set. Celebrate it. It keeps your energy high and your journey enjoyable. Remember, challenges are part of the process, but with the right mindset and habits, you can turn them into stepping stone towards your success. Dr. Rashmi, can we have a next slide? Otherwise, I will start with the motivation lecture. Okay. So with this, thank you very much. Have a nice day to all of you. Over to you, Dr. Athira.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rashmi and Dr. Krishna. It was really a wonderful, webinar. I think most of the people are overwhelmed with a lot of information, but still, I would like to quote something mentioned by both of them. It is always better to have a very first draft rather than having it as a plain or blank document. So always be motivated. You can start writing, then only the steps will take forward. Okay, so by this, I'll just give you a brief about Uni Athena. Before moving to that, I would like to clarify something. Like I was getting a lot of questions in the chat box regarding the certificates, as well as the presentation and the presentation slides. See, this presentation will be available in the Uni Athena YouTube channel. The entire session will be available, so you will be able to get at any time when you log into Uni Athena YouTube. And also regarding the certificates, you will be receiving the certificates within 3 to 5 business days. For all the participants, you will be receiving the certificates within 3 to 5 business days. I hope the 2 questions have been clarified from my side. So moving to Uni Athena. Uni Athena is a flexible, affordable, and accessible platform for you. It's a completely online, self-paced, flexible education program. Next slide, please. Uni Athena is an edutech organization offering online free learning, upskilling courses and affordable academic degree programs in a flexible manner. Founded in 2019, Uni Athena is owned by Westford Ventures, generally known as Westford Education Group, operating since 2008 in higher education sector. Next, please. So you can see these are our partners and accreditations. We have been accredited with a lot of universities and all. Next slide, please. Yes, why Uni Athena? See, it is a 100% online program, and the payments that fits for your piece, and also it is self-paced, and it has been accredited with different university partners, and you will be having personal academic advisor and research supervisor for your entire work, and it is a modular course delivery. And if you're looking for a career in academia, like we have our DBA program for you. Next slide, please. See, we have DBA specialized in general management, marketing management, leadership, project management, artificial intelligence, finance for business, sustainability in business, human resource management, strategic management, business analytics, information technology, supply chain management. These are our specializations in our DBA program, which has been provided by GMU, Unimacron University. Next slide, please. So you have 2 options for the DBA doctorate program at Uni Athena, Doctor of Business Administration. Also, you have integrated doctorate of business administration. So you have 2 options for doctorate programs at Uni Athena. Next slide. So you can just hear out from our learners. Next slide, please. Yes. So if you have any queries related with the admissions to Uni Athena, you can just contact fatima@uniathena.com, admissions@uniathena.com. Also, here you can see a WhatsApp number mentioned here. You can contact through WhatsApp as well. +971 558795492. Thank you. So now this is all about the Uni Athena and the DPA program that we offer. So now we can go back to the Q&A session. We have lot of questions in the Q&A, also in the chat boxes. Like a lot of people are interested to know about many things. Some of the questions are really personal, and some are very general. But still, I'm so happy that there are a lot of participants, more than 500 participants today. And I think most of them are happy. As you can see it in the chat box also, they're really happy to know more about academic writing. Also, all of them are in need of this video recording, also the presentation slides and everything. So from that, I was able to understand that the people are really happy with the presentation and they would like to move